Hello, welcome back to the Gazelle Lab. This is Anthony. Today we have the HTC Evo 4G from Sprint going against the Motorola X on Verizon. This will be a classic Android battle of the two biggest smartphones on the market. So we have two special reviewers. We have Arnab, who will be reviewing his Motorola X, and we have Joe, who's on the left, who will be reviewing his HTC Evo 4G. So welcome guys to the lab. Let's take a look at the physical dimensions and the sizes of these two smartphones.
Alright, so starting with the Droid X, it is precisely 128 by 66 by 10 millimeters.
And the HTC Evo is actually 122 by 66 by 13 millimeters, which is makes it slightly thicker than the Droid.
So let's see them side to side, guys. Can you put those side to side for me? So we can see the thickness is almost about the same. The Droid looks a little bit thinner. And how about flipping them around? Let's take a look at the back side. So there we go. We can see the Droid's got the camera way up top, and the HTC is smack dab in the middle. And both look like they're using dual LED flashes.
Exactly. And also the Evo features a kickstand on the back of the phone for when you're watching videos on the screen. And we'll get into that.
So let's take a look at the rest of the hardware features. Some of those buttons on the bottom. Can you guys explain those for me?
Well, starting with the HTC Evo, it features 4 tactile buttons, starting with the home button, menu button, back, and the search. While the Droid X...
Well, with the Droid X, the buttons are actually physical tactile buttons that do light up, but are definitely not capacitive, and also the home button and the menu button are swapped.
Okay, so let's take a look at some of those ports on the bottoms and the sides and some of the rocker buttons. So let's start with the HTC.
Well, as you can see, the ports are located on the bottom, and you have the micro USB with the HDMI micro, and on the top you are featured the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
And on the Droid X?
Well, on the Droid X, you'll notice that the ports are on the side of the phone, on the left side precisely, the USB and the HDMI mini, and the top of the phone will show you the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
So the Droid X does also have a dedicated camera button, correct?
It does. On the right side has a red button which is for the camera, and you can also use the red button to enter the camera app.
Very nice. So now, can we just go into the main screens and take a look at the UI? We know that the HTC does have that nice Sense UI that we've seen in the Desire, and we see the Motorola's using looks like some sort of Moto Blur.
Yeah, like a toned down version of Moto Blur.
So let's focus in on those UIs. So let's start with the HTC again.
Well, the HTC features the feature Leap, which if you pinch your fingers, you can go to any one of your home pages at will, your friends, or your contacts, or your main home screen.
So that's pretty much like the HTC Desire that we saw before. And how about the Motorola?
Similar to the HTC, but demonstrated in a different way. It's the Moto Blur software, which puts all of your contacts all in one place. If you were to go there to the contacts, I'll not do that here because you'll see numbers that are personal. But basically, you'll see your contacts jointed with like Facebook, with Gmail contacts, all in the same menu. It's kind of cool.
So let's take a look. Can we go into those menus, guys? And let's take a look at some of the apps.
So let me just go in there.
You can actually see the difference between the way that the Sense UI actually does a little animation when it opens up the menu, when the Droid X actually makes it visible.
So can we slide on that Droid X? Let's see that capacitive touchscreen.
So yeah, I've got nice smooth scroll on the Droid X, also on the Evo.
Pretty nice. And how do you guys find these devices pocketable? They are pretty big.
Well, yeah, this is a really large phone. Even though it's slightly heavier than the Droid X, it feels sturdy. It's a solid phone. It's HTC. Yeah, it's funny taking it out of my pocket, but like the size, I've become used to it because of the size, I'm able to have the 4.3 screen.
That's nice. So can we go into the? A lot of people want to see the two 8-megapixel cameras go head to head. So how about we grab an object and let's put the cameras head to head. So we got a set of keys. Let's start with the Evo first. Can you slide that over to the right a little? Okay.
And they both feature
Snap away.
the touch to focus, where you can touch any part of the screen and it will try to focus on what's there. So I'm going to select the keys and allow the camera to do its function and take the picture.
Okay. So now let's try the Droid X, and we can compare side to side.
And this also has the touch to focus, where he can choose what device. But in order to activate the focus, he has to touch the camera button down, and it'll all automatically start to focus on the keys.
And right now I'm having a little difficulty focusing.
Just touch the camera button down, and it'll start to focus.
Yeah, hold that shutter button
Yeah.
down a little.
There
we go.
Exactly.
Okay, so now can we see those screens side to side?
So
Let's take a look at the resolution.
this is the picture that I've just taken. Similar to exact same device. You can slightly see, because of his slightly higher resolution, his pictures is a little more crisp as opposed to the HTC's picture.
But with two 8-megapixel cameras, the pictures were probably pretty similar if you were to download them onto a computer and look on them on like similar screens.
So,
Exactly.
we saw that with the Galaxy S versus the Desire. So it'll look better on the screen, but once they're on the computer, they should look relatively the same.
And one thing I wanted to point out on this HTC Evo has Froyo 2.0 with Sense, and the new feature that they added on the camera was the accelerometer now works into the camera. So if you look at the buttons, they will actually, depending on how you're flipped, the buttons will flip accordingly.
Very nice. So overall, who are we gonna give this 4.3-inch Android battle to? Who would you say the overall winner is, guys?
Well, I mean, when doing the research on these phones, I've come to appreciate what the Droid X has come to offer. The awesome resolution screen, the button dedicated to taking the picture. But I still do love my Sense UI and the awesome kickstand so if I wanted to take a look at those pictures, I can show them off.
So basically it pretty much comes down to what kind of interface you want, preference, and if you want Sprint's 4G network, if it's available to you in your area.
So that will be the deciding factor. What carrier you're on, they have the same price point at $199, and Sprint does offer a little bit more with, I think, the Sense UI is an advantage, and the ability to get 4G data. So thanks guys for joining me in the lab. Stay tuned for our next video. Thanks.